To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
G'day guys, Disney Dave coming at you once again from Down Under. Today we're doing another little unboxing, packaging video, but it's a little bit different. We're doing a retrospective one. So we're taking a look at a couple of releases which have been out for quite a while. We're taking a look at 4 releases, one of which only came out this year, but one of which came out about 8 years ago. So, you know, there's a little bit of a time difference between them, but what we're doing is we're doing a comparison video, and we're taking a look at some of the earliest Disney animated films released on Blu-ray and some of the most recent ones as well. Of course, we're taking a look at the Snow White Diamond Edition, which came out about 7 years ago, 2009, I think that came out, and we're comparing that with the Snow White Walt Disney Signature Collection, which has only just come out this year. So that's the re-release of this one. And we're also taking a look at Sleeping Beauty, which came out in 2008. This was the very first Disney animated title released on Blu-ray, and we're comparing it with the Sleeping Beauty Diamond Edition, which came out about 2014, I think. So that's the re-release of this one. Now, the main reason we're doing this is because there's quite a difference between the special features that are included in the sets of these, and there's a difference between the packaging and all that kind of stuff. I should say from the top that these two are readily available now to purchase on Amazon or wherever you buy your Blu-rays from. Whether or not they're still shipping with slipcovers, I'm not too sure, because the Disney slipcovers are quite notorious for only sticking around for a little while and then not being able to get them soon after release. But I do think, I was on a message board today, and someone actually received a copy of this with the slipcover from Disney Movie Club, I think. So, as far as I'm aware, this one still comes in the slipcover, but I can't say the same for this, I'm not too sure. These ones here are well and truly back in the vault, as Disney like to say. So these 2 editions are unavailable at the moment unless you want to go to eBay and pay scalper prices. I wouldn't do that myself, but some people out there might be the kind to do that. So this is just a video for you guys to just suss out the differences between these 2 and these 2. So if you are in the market to buy one of these, what are you missing out on in these sets that you're missing out on in these sets, and you know, vice versa, and sort of which one was the better package of them all. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's not a video like this on YouTube at the moment that's sort of comparing these things. So I've had a couple of requests for this actually for both of them. So let's go ahead and let's do it. And I'm gonna take my time on it. It's gonna be a little bit of a long video, but stick with me if you're interested and if you're in the market for these titles. So we're gonna take a look at the ins and outs, and we're gonna cover absolutely everything that you'd want to know. So come with me and let's take a look over on the table over here. Okay, so once again we are taking a look at Sleeping Beauty Platinum Edition versus the Sleeping Beauty Diamond Edition. And we are also taking a look at Snow White, the Diamond Edition versus Snow White, the Walt Disney Signature Collection. Now, for a brief rundown, you're probably wondering, okay, so where's the Platinum Edition of Snow White? Well, there was no Platinum Edition of Snow White. Basically what happened here was the Platinum Edition was the trade dress. Now these are all what I will refer to as a trade dress. Diamond Edition, Platinum Edition, Walt Disney Signature Collection. It's a dress, it's a title that they give to an edition of something to try and market it as something a little bit special, something a little bit different. So this is the trade dress of these particular films. Now the Platinum trade dress applied to the series of DVDs that came out before the Blu-rays. So it went Platinum, Diamond, Walt Disney Signature Collection. Now Sleeping Beauty had a Platinum Edition because Sleeping Beauty, the DVD, the Platinum Edition, was released just as Blu-ray was sort of kicking off, and they went, alright, let's release this one on Platinum Edition. And in addition to that, they brought out Pinocchio in Platinum Edition as well. So Sleeping Beauty then became one of the it became the very first of the original canon titles, the classic titles, to be re-released on Blu-ray. So this is the very first re-release. And you can imagine, because this was re-released before Aladdin and I think 101 Dalmatians had even had a release. And they had been released overseas, including here in Australia and the UK, before the US. And there was uproar. Why are they re-releasing Sleeping Beauty before they release, you know, the other titles? Well, Maleficent was coming out around the time, and basically they released this to capitalise on the release of the Maleficent Blu-ray DVD discs. So that's why that happened. Now, Snow White did not get a Platinum Edition because the Snow White Platinum Edition DVD came out about 7 years before Blu-ray. So we didn't get one. Now, as I said, the only two that did get a Platinum Blu-ray release was Sleeping Beauty and Pinocchio, which I have hidden away in my collection. Now, strangely, Pinocchio never received a Diamond Edition release. Who knows why? Looks like they just wanted to jump headfirst into the Walt Disney Signature Collection. Many collectors were up in an uproar because Pinocchio didn't get the Diamond treatment. Very, very annoying for those who didn't pick up the title when it was originally released. I can understand that. But for me, it doesn't bother me too much because by this point, I'm just recollecting everything. I'm just recollecting all the films all over again. Now, what I will note is that both Sleeping Beauty and Snow White are the Australian editions, so I'm not going to do a whole unboxing thing where I look at the insides and everything because I don't think it's fair to compare an Australian and a US disc inside and out. The Sleeping Beauty one is the Australian edition under the cover. See? And I bought the slipcover separately on eBay. And Snow White actually came out in a slipcover. This was pretty much the only one of the classic titles that did come in a slipcover on Blu-ray. And then they stopped releasing them in slipcovers. So the first handful of the Blu-rays I bought in Australia because the US ones were region locked. As soon as they became region unlocked with Beauty and the Beast, I started importing everything. So there was only a small handful of titles I had to go back and buy the slipcovers for. I think Tinkerbell, The Lost Treasure, Frankenweenie and Up may have also got slipcovers on Blu-ray, but that was pretty much about it. So yeah, let's kick straight into it. Let's put these next to each other and zoom in. I should say that this Sleeping Beauty Blu-ray was released in 2008. The Snow White Diamond was released in 2009. The Sleeping Beauty Diamond was released in 2014. And the Snow White Platinum was released this year, 2016. Now, let's take a look at the slipcovers. We're going to compare the slipcovers at first. Now, I can do this because this is the US slip. How beautiful is that? I mean, look at the slipcovers that these discs used to get. They used to put so much effort into these. There's really nice effects. And I'm guessing this is sort of like a shimmery platinum sort of look. It really would have been befitting of the Diamond releases, really. Shiny. And that followed on the back. Whereas these ones sort of had this recent release, nice effect, but not as nice. They're all embossed, of course, with a little bit of shimmer in the background, but nothing incredibly special that we haven't seen on Blu-ray discs. This Sleeping Beauty, as far as I'm aware, because I don't have the Snow White slipcover, though I do have the Pinocchio one, which was before Snow White, and that wasn't like this. So I think it's safe to say that the Sleeping Beauty was the only one of the slipcovers that opened up like this. I mean, how nice is that? They used to do this with DVD as well. They'd give you a little pamphlet that would tell you all about the menus and how to work the menus and about all the special features and where to find them on the menus. I mean, it's something that's not needed now because we're so used to it, but it was a nice little addition to the set. So look how beautiful this slipcover is compared to what we got here. I mean, I do like the artwork on both, but there was just an extra set of just care taken into these releases. In the covers, in the contents, really everything. Pinocchio had a similar cover with a similar sort of effect, same with Fantasia, And Beauty and the Beast had this gorgeous, like sort of glittery effect on it, which was fantastic, which we will look at when the Beauty and the Beast signature collection is released next month at the time of this filming. So there you go, they're the two releases right there. This has got a nice thick spine on it too, whereas this one's sort of more standard. And that's what those two look like, using different fonts and all that. Okay, so basically, those who are watching this are probably ones who have not been collecting, perhaps as long as I have. I haven't been collecting since the beginning of the Blu-ray releases. And you're probably wondering, okay, which is the best set? So you're probably wondering, what am I missing out on if I didn't get the Platinum Edition? Well, let me tell you, in the case of Sleeping Beauty, unfortunately you are missing out on a lot. These new releases, although they're touting them as, yeah, Diamond Edition or yeah, Signature Collection, they're really downgrading what you had before. Whereas these ones were upgrades. I mean, they ported over every single special feature from the DVDs, as well as hours of new stuff. The Diamond Editions basically strip back a whole lot of features and add a couple of mediocre ones. Now, in the case of Sleeping Beauty, I've taken a few notes. The Sleeping Beauty Platinum Edition had a total of 223 minutes of special features. If you include the audio and the visual commentaries, 298 minutes of special features. The Diamond Edition has 102 minutes of special features, or 177 if you include the commentary. Now, this one has a visual commentary. As I said, this one does not. So it was what was called a Cine Explore feature. Now, this was featured on Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, and there were a couple of others that they did it with, and they were fantastic. They were my favourite things. It was the audio commentary, but as a video, and it would play over the top of the film in the corner, and it would be those giving the audio commentary. A video of them giving the audio commentary, as well as concept artwork and everything being played over the screen. And that was absolutely fantastic. They were my favourites. Somewhere along the line they stopped doing that, and they opted for what was called the second screen feature, and I don't think they do that anymore either. I could never get the second screen feature to work because I had the US discs and I'm in Australia, and there was just something about network problems that couldn't let me do that. But it was sort of a similar thing where you could sync your iPod and your player, and your iPod, through the app you could look at concept art and stuff, but you couldn't watch them giving the commentary. Now, that being said, the Diamond Edition of Sleeping Beauty is missing 184 minutes worth of special features that the Platinum Edition had. 184 minutes of the total 223 minutes it is missing, or 298 minutes if you want to include the commentary. It's missing 184 minutes. That is a lot. Now, it does add a few special features, but really that only amounts to 39 minutes of new features on this, and it ports over 63 minutes worth of the 298 minutes worth that were on this. And that's unbelievable. I mean, I can really understand the frustration of people who perhaps didn't pick this one up at first, and then had to resort to getting this one. So we're going to look at the backs here as I talk a little bit about the special features. They've changed their design slightly over the years, but it's still sort of very similar sort of layout. Now, if we look at the special features, the Diamond Edition includes new deleted scenes, a documentary called The Art of Evil, Generations of Disney Villains, a documentary called Disney Animation, Artists in Motion, a really useless feature called Once Upon a Parade with Sarah Hyland from Modern Family at Disneyland, and a sing-along sequence for Once Upon a Dream. So really it's just useless special features. The new features on this are useless. You get 13 minutes of deleted scenes, which is pretty much the the best thing that you got on this release. Okay, but everything else was just sort of useless. The Disney Animation artist emotions is pretty interesting. You've got development artist Brittany Lee talking a little bit about her work and her artwork, but it's 4 minutes long. What you're getting from this is a very, very small amount of stuff. Okay, now the special features that were on this one, if we pull this out, now this was the 50th anniversary release, they went all out. This release featured, how many minutes? It featured something like, I'm just scrolling through my notes here. It pulled across pulled across special features from the DVD, and it was pretty much everything from the DVD. So maybe it was like half an hour, 40 minutes of old special features that were ported across from the DVD. It also featured the Scene Explore feature, as I said. It featured the audio commentary, which is on this. Had this beautiful 30-minute documentary called Grand Canyon, which is classical music, set to these beautiful HD shots of the Grand Canyon. In 7.1 surround sound, absolutely gorgeous. It's got a bunch of little featurettes, Dragon Encounter, Princess Fun Facts, music videos. It's got sing-along things on there. It's got trailers. You've got games and activities. You have Backstage Disney, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. There's an original Disneyland Sleeping Beauty walkthrough of the attraction at Disneyland. And then there's a history of the castle walkthrough. You've got a Making of Sleeping Beauty featurette, 43 minutes worth. Not on this. Not on this. Very strange. Let me double check before I do go off about that. Yep. That actually was on there, that one, The Making of Sleeping Beauty. That was one of the small handful of features that was actually on that. As I'm going off my head, I'm thinking, hang on, I think that was on there, and it was. So that's good. Ivan Earl, Ivan Earl, a featurette on him and his artwork. Now, he was a very big influence on the art style in this film. And a bunch of other little featurettes. It's also got alternate openings, deleted scenes, storyboard sequences, live action reference footage, Sleeping Beauty art galleries, a featurette on the restoration of the sound, a 50-minute documentary on Peter Tchaikovsky, whose this film's score was based on his ballet. And it's just got a 16-minute documentary on all these artists from the Disney studio who worked on the original film. So that is an exhausting amount of special features on that original one. As I said, it was well over 200, very, very close to 300 minutes worth of special features on this one. This one, as I said, it has that small smattering of new special features. And the old features it includes are the audio commentary, the restoring the sound feature, the making of, and the feature on Irvin Earl. Everything else, gone. The Grand Canyon short film, gone. The special featurette on Tchaikovsky, gone. All the deleted scenes and alternate scenes and documentaries about the artists and the footage of, reference footage, just all gone. This is a major, major, major downgrade from this. I do not know what they were thinking, whether they were trying to save money or who knows, but I feel bad for people who love this movie and really, really, really wanted an extensive release of this and missed out. Because this is basically your ultimate collection. This one, major step down. So, this one is not available anymore. Obviously, it's been out of print for about 7 years. This is the one you can get at the moment. If you want to try and track it down on eBay, go ahead, but it's going to be very, very, very expensive. Sadly. Now let's have a look at Snow White. As I said, this is the Australian edition, so it'd be still a little unfair to compare the slipcovers. The artwork on this is slightly different to the Australian one as well. The effects on that are pretty pathetic as well. Very similar to the new Sleeping Beauty one. Now this is just matte and gloss characters, embossed glossy characters, and a matte white. So really they've gone from ooh amazing to ooh that's really nice to yeah. Now this one's not as much of a step down as Sleeping Beauty is. This release is somewhat lacking. It's lacking a lot of the great special features that were on this. But in the grand scheme of things, it actually does offer quite a bit. And it doesn't really omit too much stuff. Certainly not as much stuff as the Sleeping Beauty release omitted. Now, as I said before, this one was released in 2009 and this one came out this year, 2016, earlier in the year. So, back to my notes, we're going to have a look. Snow White, the Diamond Edition, the very first release, featured 143 minutes of special features, including 226 minutes, including the commentary. Now that included 107 minutes worth of new stuff for the Blu-ray and about 36 minutes worth of classic DVD features, ported over everything from the DVD. Same can't be said for this about porting over features, so once again, excluding the commentary, you're looking at 143 minutes of features on that. On this one, you're looking at 141 minutes of features, so there's really only 2 minutes difference. But the difference is that this one only has 100 minutes of the old stuff, so it's really only missing about 40 minutes worth of stuff. Unlike Sleeping Beauty, which was missing hundreds of minutes of stuff, this is really only missing about 43 minutes worth of features that were on this one. So this is a more reasonable release, really. And you're looking at 40 minutes of new special features on this one, which is quite good. And the features that are on this are actually quite substantial, unlike what Sleeping Beauty had to offer. So we're going to have a look at, we're going to compare the special features once again. We're going to look at the backs, and again, it's a little unfair to judge the backs because I don't have the American slip for this, only the Australian. I'm not too sure if that's what the American one looks like. I'm guessing it's probably similar, but a little bit different. So we're going to take a look at the special features of this. The Snow White. We're going to look at let's look at this one first. The new special features we've got on this are 4.5-minute documentary, Walt Disney talking about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, documentary on the iconography of the film, about 7 minutes, another Disney animation designing Disney's first princess feature, which is quite nice, a 5-minute documentary, 7 things you may not know about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is pretty interesting for those new to Disney history and the making of the film. We've got a rapid-fire hip-hop retelling of the story, Snow White in 70 seconds, which is useless. An alternate sequence, the prince meeting Snow White, which is fantastic, something that's never been seen before. It's got a feature called The Making of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's a 33-minute featurette. It's just actually an extended version of a feature that was on this one, which ran for, I believe, back to my notes, a 17-minute documentary. So between the two versions, they extended a 17-minute documentary to make a 33-minute documentary. So that's actually an upgrade. That's actually a step up from the previous release, unlike Sleeping Beauty. We've also got a documentary, 11-minute documentary about bringing Snow White to life. Actually, sorry, that was one that was on this one, sorry. But that was all the new stuff. So actually it does offer quite a little bit of substantial new featurettes. Now, this one here features, in addition, it doesn't feature the 40 minutes of new stuff on this, obviously, but it features, let's just take a look at this. It features this extensive documentary on the Hyperion Studios, where Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was produced. 58 minutes. And it's this awesome feature. You can take a visual tour of the Hyperion Studios using your remote. You click on each room and it plays a different section of the documentary. 58 minutes worth. This one cut that documentary down to 36 minutes. So that's on here, but only in a 36 minute version. So it's missing so it's a 30-minute version. So it's missing 28 minutes between the two versions. In addition to that, it also features audio commentary, Disney View, it's got the one that started it all, the shortened version of the one that got extended for this. It's got all the classic DVD bonus features. Snow White Returns, documentary about why didn't Disney make the sequel in the end. Deleted scenes, 11 minutes worth. Some games, music videos. A preview of The Princess and the Frog, and that was it really. So really there's not a huge difference between these two, which is great for collectors. It's really great for people who missed out on this, because really you're only missing, what did I say? You're only missing about 43 minutes of stuff between the two. Now it's probably pretty substantial stuff that you are missing out on between the two releases, but in the end, it's not going to be something that you're really going to stress out over or fret over, especially not to the extent of Sleeping Beauty. Because this, in every respect, is a better release than the Sleeping Beauty re-release. Because that just chopped out so much incredible stuff. The Snow White one is basically the same as this. You get 40 minutes of new stuff, but miss out on about 40 minutes of old stuff. So that's not too bad. I mean, to me, for both of these, it's like if you combine the features on both of them, you would have the ultimate collection. So had they ported everything from this into this, plus added stuff, ultimate collection. And that would have been absolutely fantastic. Of course, both have audio commentaries as well, but no visual commentary like Sleeping Beauty had. Now, that wraps that one up as well. We're going to place these ones back, and we're going to talk quickly. Oops, we're chopping the heads off that one off. We're going to talk quickly about video and audio transfers on this. That's probably what people are wondering. What is the difference between the transfers of the two sets? Let's talk about the film itself, which is in some cases what most people are going to buy it for. Some people are going to buy it for. What's the difference? Zilch. Nothing. So that's a good thing. You get the same transfer between these two as you do on these two. Now, some people were kicking up a bit of a fuss when this was released with the same transfer as this, because people had a little bit of an issue with this transfer, because they believe the colour palette was not correct, because it didn't match the colour palette that was on an earlier DVD and the VHS and the Laserdisc. But I think that the colour palette on the Blu-ray is pretty accurate, and I think the Blu-ray represents the colour palette the film should have had. I had no problems with that. I think it looks gorgeous. And I think porting that transfer over this, fantastic. I mean, why would they need to? These look stunning. These are some of the greatest Blu-ray transfers I've ever seen, and why would you need to change them from one to one? Really? So that's a good thing. You've got the same transfer between both sets. The audio transfer, you've got 7.1 surround audio on both releases as well. And I mean, as far as the film goes, you're getting the same thing. You're just lacking in special features. Now, what would I choose? If I had to choose, if I was right now coming into the game, well, I would really have no choice but to buy what's new on the market, because I'm not going to go and spend $200 on a Blu-ray. No matter how much stuff I'm missing out on, it's just a ridiculous amount of money to go on eBay and spend. So, Snow White, really, there's not much of a difference between those two. You don't really need to fret about that. Sleeping Beauty, on the other hand, you're really getting a major downgrade, and I feel bad. I mean, if you can pick this up for a really good price, go for it. The new special features on this are somewhat useless. Apart from the deleted scenes, they're just not great. So this is really the best release of this. With this, I mean, combined between the two of them would be an ultimate collection. And honestly, whatever one you can get your hands on, go for it, because I think there's much of a muchness between the two. The new features are nice, but not necessary. And we got some great stuff on the old one that we didn't get on this, and you know, in the end it all comes down to what you can get and what you're comfortable to pay for all this stuff, comfortable with paying for all this stuff. But you know, Disney are going to be doing this, and they're going to, every time these get re-released, they're going to be lacking more stuff and adding more stuff. So I personally believe these are going to be the last round of physical releases before they go all out with the digital. The only reason they're re-releasing is to go, hey, you can get digital HD copies of these ones now. The next step is going to be, okay, where... look, honestly, the Disney Vault is defunct. I don't care what people say, the Disney Vault is gone. The Disney Vault is gone. They have not used the word vault in advertising for ages. A lot of the old Diamond editions took forever to go back in the vault. Some of them are still out of the vault when they were supposed to go into the vault, you know, like 2 months after they were released, but it never happened. They are retiring a lot of them right now because they're preparing to release them on signature and in digital HD, but they're not using the terminology of vault. It's not going back in the vault, it's just going on a temporary moratorium. And I have a feeling that's probably what's going to happen. They're all going to go on moratorium, and they're going to slowly come back out, released one by one as a signature collection and digital HD. And once they stop manufacturing the Blu-rays, you are just going to be stuck with having to buy the digital HD. That is my personal thought, and I think that the way the future is digital, sadly, because I love the physical things, but really that's what's going to happen. You are going to get you're going to get stuck with buying digital only. So if you want to buy these now. That's all I have to say. Okay, so really that is everything I've got to say on that. 30 minutes worth. Woo. And we're going to head over to the couch for a very quick wrap up. Alright, well, thank you for sticking with me through that very, very long spiel. I'm known to sort of go off on tangents and talk for ages and ages, but if you're still here, that's fantastic. So I hope you've made up your mind. If you're in the market to get, you know, one of these titles, who knows, are you happy, are you unhappy that you're stuck with these, or are you going to go ahead and you're going to go and pay the scalper prices on eBay for these? You know, it's your money and you do what you want with your money. I personally wouldn't go and pay scalper prices, because who knows what's going to come down in the line. Like I said, it's most likely going to go all digital, I think, in the future, and who knows when they, you know, 10 years down the line, they might do a digital release that has every special feature. It's very doubtful, knowing Disney's track record, but they might do it. I must say also that now I'm thinking of it, there's probably look, Disney haven't got into the 4K ultra high def thing yet. There's going to be a point where they do get into that. Whether they then go back and release their entire catalogue again on 4K, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, there are still a few titles that aren't released on Blu-ray. So the fact that they're not even completing their run of titles on Blu-ray tells me that there's probably not going to be a whole lot of titles that come out on 4K. Probably newer ones as they come out down the line will come out on 4K, but as far as the old ones, look, I don't know if you're going to get a picture any better than is on the Blu-ray because of the source material and all that kind of thing. But anyway, so like I said, if you're in the market for these, grab them now, however way you can, because these are probably going to be the last physical copies of these in this format anyway. Whether they come out in 4K, I probably don't think that these would be kind of titles that would come out on 4K, and if they are, I don't know what the point would be really anyway. So at that's the end of the video. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching and sticking all the way through. If you've liked what you've seen, please give me some support and give me a subscribe here on the YouTube, and head over to the Facebook and give me a like, and that way you can keep up to date on all of my videos and all that kind of stuff. I've got stuff going up all the time. So, you know, do what you gotta do, and hopefully I will see you later, guys, and until then I hope you have a magical day.